It's up to you, New York, New York.
All right. Happy Thursday evening. It's the Richie Hicks Jr. Sports Podcast here on YouTube. I am your host, Richie, here with my good friend out in Cali, Mr. Daniel Nunez. How you doing, boss? Welcome to the show.
I'm doing good, boss. Appreciate being on your show like always. Appreciate you, man.
I appreciate you jumping in last minute. I got the
Yes,
itch
sir.
to do a show tonight, bro, because I can't stop figuring and thinking about how much longer is Team LeBron waiting to make the decision. I guess you could say this is the decision 3.0. Of course, the one
Mhm.
where he landed in South Beach the first time had a lot of excitement on it. When he went to the Lakers, not really the same kind of excitement. This is technically the decision 4.0, if we're really going to track all his free agent maneuvering. But I'm going to call it the decision 2.0 because it's kind of got the excitement bit to it because this is the final tour. And, unbelievable, man. Almost 2.5 decades in the NBA. Like him or not, he's a polarizing figure, no question about it. In
Right.
many people's top five, some people's top 10, definitely top 10, most people's top five, some people's top three. Wherever you rank him, a very polarizing figure. And I got to ask you this, Mr. Nunez, just off the jump. We'll do a little pros and cons. Let's start with the Miami Heat, his former stomping grounds. He was there for 4 strong seasons, 4 Eastern Conference Finals champions, 2-time NBA champions while in Miami, forming the squad with Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade. On a scale of 1 to 10, where would you rank them in terms of chances of landing the king?
I would have to rank him at least number like at least 5 or 6. I don't see him. It's like he's milking it, and I think that LeBron ain't gonna make his decision until we hit the preseason. But I don't see him in Miami. I literally see him in Golden State. Like
So
it's
you think
a
after all the running around, and even though, according to a lot of experts, Golden State kind of pulled off, you still feel that he's going to end up staying in the West, doing something with Draymond and Steph Curry.
Yeah, I see it because I mean he it's like he has his kids. I mean it's like his kids today. They're here, and I think we're gonna see probably him with Golden State. But I'm also hearing Dallas is in the mix too. The Mavs because I'm hearing the rumor is that Dallas is looking for a trade to get Arabia and Bronny over to Dallas. I forgot the name of the player they're looking for, but that's the new rumor going around that um, the Lakers might pull that trade, and you never know. You might see LeBron in Dallas along with Cooper Flag.
That would be an interesting pairing, the future meeting, the soon to be passed. This is the thing that I haven't been able to figure during this whole Lebronathon of 3 or so weeks is we know that he wants to play, obviously, another year. We know this is his last year.
Right.
But what is the motivation? Does he want it to end in a championship? I mean, I guess every NBA player wants that, but what is the real motivation? Is it a farewell tour? If that's the case, one would think Cleveland, possibly
Hmm.
Miami, because I personally think the greatest version of LeBron was the 4 years in Miami. That's just my
Right.
opinion. Some people will say a mixture of Miami, second run in Cleveland. Um, I don't know, man. If it's to win a championship, I wholeheartedly believe that his two best chances are Cleveland or Miami. Excuse me, Cleveland or Philly. Because Philly bolstered that roster. You bring in Jalen Brown to run point. This is a team that, you know, got handled by my New York Knicks. But
Yep.
Joel Embiid, to be fair, his timing was off. He missed a good chunk of the season. I like roster wise what Philadelphia has done. You got a nice little nucleus here, young team with Maxey and Edgecombe. You bring in Jalen Brown, former NBA champion. If you put LeBron on that team and you hope that Joel Embiid could be healthy, they are a legitimate threat to the defending champions, my New York Knicks. That's my opinion. I think that's his best chance to win a
Hmm.
title. I feel that Cleveland, while I don't think adding him makes you necessarily scary, it gives them viability, it gives them credibility. But I'm feeling South Beach, bro. 40 something years old, the aches and pains are real. And I don't know why anybody at that age would want to voluntarily go to that region. I mean, it's not like they play basketball outside, but let's be real.
Right.
The cold is no game in that region.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think he might, like I said, I think he might go to Golden State. Maybe he might go to Dallas. But what about your Knicks? You think he might go to the Knicks?
Nah, that chapter's done. I mean, there was a possibility for a mid-level exemption, but I think the most honest thing that we heard from the Rich Paul camp, LeBron camp, is that if the
Mhm.
Knicks would have lost the NBA Finals, there would have been a little more juice for a reason for him to want to go there. But the reality is, you know how like Kevin Durant was kind of crucified by a lot of people for
Yes.
leaving OKC, going to an already established champion, especially when they took Golden State to 7. They only needed one more game to
Mhm.
beat them. They were up
Right.
3-1, actually. A lot of people forget.
Hmm.
Um, well, I don't believe LeBron logically should get scrutinized the same way if he joined the Knicks, because LeBron has won everywhere he's gone, whether you like him or not. That's a fact.
Right.
I do think the Knicks winning the championship kind of closed the door. I think the only thing the Knicks are still trying to do right now is figure out a third string center, because we did make a claim. Unfortunately, Dallas met that player
Hmm.
on the restricted free agent, because the difference between a restriction and an unrestriction is the previous team can match. That's exactly what Dallas did. But the Knicks are still in the market for a third center, but I do not see them bringing in LeBron James at this juncture. I think that is all but cooled off.
Hmm.
Um, I think the Knicks are pretty much ready to roll with what they got. The only thing I could see the Knicks potentially doing, and I still think it's a thin chance because it's still a team-friendly contract, is potentially moving Deuce McBride, because I think in the pecking order, I think Jose Alvarado as well as Landry Shamet have kind of jumped Deuce McBride. And
Hmm.
then Deuce McBride being on like the final year of his deal could be appealing to a team on a not necessarily expensive deal. So we'll see. And for the Knicks, it makes sense to trade him to a level, because as opposed to just letting him hit free agency, perhaps they could get
Yeah.
something that they think they need. But I think the Knicks are ready to run it back, try to repeat.
Mhm.
I think LeBron's going to South Beach, bro. Giannis Antetokounmpo, as well as Bam Adebayo, that forms the big three. Now, LeBron doesn't have another 3 or 4 years for them to fill out the entire roster, but I think
Right.
at minimum, it put asses in seats, and I think it makes it exciting.
Yeah, but looking at that aspect, you got an injury prone Giannis. I don't get me wrong. I mean, it was to me it was kind of shocking he went to Miami. 'Cause I thought he was gonna go to like I even thought he was gonna come to the Lakers. The way everybody was like, we might come to play with Luca and this and that, and I was like, oh, really? Whatever. But when Miami pulled out the trigger, I was like, whoa, okay. Um, I don't know. If LeBron goes there, there is your big three. But then you got to look at too. LeBron's at that age where he needs to be careful too, because that boy. his foot, his ankle, his aches
Yes,
and pains.
indeed.
And now, question is this: is he going to be willing to come off the bench? 'Cause I don't think he's going to start. I think he'll be a bench player. I
The thing
mean,
with
unless.
Miami that I find intriguing is I've seen Eric Spoelstra work miracles with lesser rosters.
Mhm.
And I say to myself, whether he's coming off the bench, whether he's going to be managing minutes as a starter, if you add LeBron James to a team that has Bam Adebayo and Giannis Antetokounmpo, they've got to be accounted for at minimum. I still don't see them in the top 2 or 3 in the East. I think it's more like a 5 or a 6 seed, but still a team that could be heard from in the playoffs. Ultimately, I think it's going to be the Miami Heat. I think it's the warm weather. I think it's the culture in South Beach. And like I
Mhm.
said, I personally think that it is his most dominant time as a player. He has
Right.
4 rings. He won 2 there. So, however
Mhm.
you people choose to slice it, I feel that his most dominant time in the NBA, at least in winning, was in Miami. And of course, he had a nice big 3-year one. They got outclassed by Dallas. They started filling out that bench as more years went into it, and they really had a hell of a team. Of course, elder
Yeah.
statesman on that team was Udonis Haslem, of course, D Wade. But that's where I think it ends. I think he goes back to Miami. I think he's going to rock the number 6 too if he does go back there. And I did
Yeah, he
want to
will. I
ask
think so
you,
too.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's got to be that uh, kind of like his Darth Vader number. And I do want to ask this as
Yep.
well. Um,
Mhm.
Commissioner Silver kind of nudging the LeBron camp. Do you think it's very unprofessional for the commissioner to just kind of blurt out, "Hey, we need you to tell us where you're going so we can make a schedule"? I'm like, he's one player, guys. He's one player, and it's not like I'm not trying to be an ass, but this isn't Michael Jordan coming back in the prime of his life. I think what LeBron James
Right.
has been able to do is still remarkable considering his age. But
Mhm.
nah, dog, just make your schedule. Every team that's flirting with LeBron is a good draw, whether it's
Yeah.
whether it's Dallas, whether it's Philly. But I will say this much in closing this part of the segment: I
Mhm.
wholeheartedly don't think he knows where he wants to go yet. I really
No.
believe that.
I think now. I think we talked about this. I think too. I think it's just like he's enjoying right now the off season. I've seen videos of him with his kids. I see him golfing. I see him just loving the life. And maybe he's might retire. I mean, maybe this is just like milking it. Maybe just saying, okay, you know what? I don't feel like playing basketball no more. I'm just gonna retire.
I mean, it's
But
possible. I don't agree. I
mhm,
really do believe that this decision will happen within the week, which is part of my motivation to want to hit this tonight. Of course, there's
right.
a hope of mine that while we're in mid conversation, we get an update that he signed somewhere. That'll kind of
I
spice it
know.
up
Yes.
because I got to say this: a couple of times doing this podcasting, it's happened. And what's kind of funny is how Soto, the last few years, he got traded to the Yanks, and then
Right.
of course signed
With the
the
Mets.
big time historic deal with the Mets. Both
Hmm.
times that it occurred, I just happened to be live.
Oh, okay. Oh, dang.
So if you want to get a good laugh and a lot of sarcasm, watch the show where he signed with the Mets.
I can really see it already. How you get like, oh hell no.
It might not be as toxic and as volatile as the evening of the day when Saquon Barkley joined your Philadelphia Eagles. I was not a happy man that day.
It
It
was an
took me
exciting day
about
for me.
yeah, it took me about half the show to even call him by his first name. And I kept pointing to my Rodney Hampton picture, saying, "Yeah, Rodney Hampton is my favorite New York Giants running back of all time." And
Mhm.
then I started talking about how we're going to find out who the next 2-6 will be. Of course, famously worn by Antrell Roll and Orleans Darkwa. So I was like really going in on it. But that was then. This is now. I like our
Yeah.
running back now. It's all good. Hopefully, you stop doing those stupid backflips. But moving it along, Mr. Nunez. Of course, your Dodgers are chasing down some history. They're trying to three-peat, which is a very short list of great teams that have been able to pull that off. You got the 50s Yankees who won 5 in a row. You got my 90s into the early 2000s Yankees who've done it.
Right.
You got the athletics from the old days. I'm not talking about the 90s either. I'm talking about the old days
Yeah.
have achieved that. There have been some teams that have achieved that very difficult task. Obviously, it almost seems like a silly question to ask a Dodgers fan or anybody for that
Hmm.
matter. What do the Dodgers need? Because it seems like they damn near have everything, but there's always a hole. There's always a weakness. What do you want to see your team go out and get if you feel they still need more?
Pitching. I think right now with
Okay.
Otani being sidelined, but then let me break it down real quick. So look at the way we're doing right now. We don't have Glass now, and we don't even have Blake Snell in the lineup, and we're still winning games. You look at
Yeah,
our bullpen. We don't even
it's a
have.
very deep team.
I mean, look at our bullpen. We're gonna get Edwin Diaz back probably by the end of this weekend, or we're gonna get him next week. We're gonna get Kiki Hernandez back. I think we just need another couple of pitchers. We signed a couple of. We got a couple of pitchers off free agency. I believe one from Colorado was in the bullpen, and I don't know if we got two pitchers. But what I'm thinking, what I'm hearing still is that we're still going to go for Tariq Skubal, and I think the Dodgers are going to trade Sheehan and three prospects, and I believe a first round pick to Detroit for Skubal and Jansen. So that's still on the
I
table.
think it's a no-brainer if you're the Tigers to make that trade because you don't want to lose this guy for nothing. And the reality is that even though the Central is very tight and the Tigers could still get hot at the end of the summer and win that division, I
Right.
still think you got to deal them because you cannot allow a talent like that to just walk out the door and get nothing for him. And I would
Right.
say if the Dodgers package is the best, you deal him there or you deal him to anyone else if you think their package is better. But you gotta make the deal if you're the Detroit Tigers because whether you win the Central, whether you sneak in as a wild card, whatever the case, you're not a World
Mhm.
Series caliber club this year.
No, you're not. Not compared to last year. Last year they shocked a lot of people. I thought. Remember, I told you last year. I thought the Dodgers and Tigers were going to be in the World Series. I thought it was going to be Detroit and LA, and I was so close to it. But I mean, it was
Well,
done and done last year.
the margin for error in playoff baseball is so fickle because if you look at last year's Tigers, they had an epic series with the Seattle Mariners that truly could
Mhm.
have gone either way. I mean, you're talking extra innings, game five closeout. It
Yes.
was an epic matchup, and it truly both teams had many chances to win that series. Ultimately, Seattle did. I mean, look at Seattle and the Blue Jays. Seattle was
Yes.
up 2-0. The Blue Jays stormed back. Look at your series. The Blue Jays win 2 out of 3 in LA. It looks like they're literally going to be the world champions. They only got to win one. And how many times in game 7 did the Dodgers resurrect from the dead where it looked like, oh my God, that was it? Whether it was gunning down IKF at home plate,
Hmm.
whether it was just having the wherewithal to be in tune with the game defensively and know the rules. Because let's be real, dude, a lot of guys would have picked that baseball up just on reaction.
Yep. And
So
I'm
you
gonna be
you
honest with
got
you, man.
you gotta commend the Dodgers for not just being a team full of stars and all this other stuff and all the hype.
Mhm.
These
That I didn't.
guys situationally are always in the game.
Yes. I mean, I was looking at the World Series. I was looking back at Game Seven. That play you were talking about, off when the ball wedged in the wall. I have never in my life didn't even know that was even a rule. I'm like, what the heck's going on? They explained, so I'm like, oh wow. So then, the way I see it is, but when Bichette hit that 3-run home run, I was like, okay, we're not in trouble. Just the first inning, you picked a cracked 3-run blast. Great. Game's not over yet. This is the first bottom of the first inning. Okay. Then the Dodgers started chipping away the lead, and then they got another run. And then once he hit the home run in the bottom of the eighth, I'm like, okay, we're only down by 1 run. When Miggy Rojas hit that home run to tie it, I was just like, I jumped off my seat. And then the 11th, when I saw my boy Will Smith hit the home run, I was like, this World Series is over. The bullpen's going to shut him down. And then Yamamoto comes in, and I've never seen that in my life. Some pitcher go from one day pitching a game and then pitching the next game to close it out.
Yeah,
That was
it's the
just,
stuff that few have done. That's something like a guy like an old school pitcher like a Jack Morris would pull off.
hmm
You don't see it very often. You really don't see it very often. Now, correct me on history if I'm wrong.
hmm
The Pajes home run was game 6, correct?
Andy Paez?
Yeah, didn't he ding one out in either 6 or 7? Because I recall him getting them back in the game.
That I can recall. I don't even remember Pius hitting a home run in the World Series that I can recall.
Unless if I'm confusing him with the Rojas home run, I'll have to revisit the
Because
game.
yeah, because in Game 7, they were down 4-2 going into in the bottom of the eighth. Then Max Muncy hit a home run in the eighth off that big old on the second row. Then Miggy
Yes, sir.
Rojas hit the
I
home
recall
run.
that. It
Yeah,
was Rojas,
Miggy.
yes, indeed, because I
Yeah,
remember the backstory talking about how he was slumping and how his wife was kind of keeping him even keeled, talking to him
hmm
about it.
yes, sir.
There
Yeah,
you
so
go.
Miggy
Go.
Rojas. Yeah, Miggy
All right.
Rojas hit it off the guy. I forgot who the hell the pitcher was from Toronto, but he used to be a Philly. And he hit the home run. And then Will Smith in the 11th inning cracked the solo home run. And then we all know what happened after that.
Yeah, Will Smith, that's what about his clutch. That was as clutch
Yes.
as it could possibly get. So running back the point, I mean, getting a healthy Edwin Diaz, like, you know, a trade deadline when you get a guy at this juncture of the season is so vital. It's so
Mhm.
huge. Why? I personally think that he's still top tier closer, but getting to responds, with the time off. It was a very interesting acquisition for sure.
Mhm.
Okay, we got Ryan Shed coming in, Miami Heat fan, of course. UC Shed here on the show. What's up, fellas? LeBron needs to retire. He ruined the NBA long enough. Time for a new era. I'm Sheddy. I'm with you, but you and I both know that he's gonna play this year. And Shed, since you're here, where's he going? So we'll give Shed an
Yeah.
opportunity to answer that. I
Yes,
personally
sir.
think, like I said at the top of it, he's going to South Beach. Sorry for getting your comment in late, Shed, but I was actually driving home. I actually am just getting home now, stretching it out. Going to keep talking to Nunez. So Nunez,
Yes.
it's pitching for you. It's pitching for you. I mean, God, if you guys get Tarek Skubal, that is just devastating.
I'm gonna tell you if we get Terry Scobo, I think I'm not gonna say three-peat because anything can happen still, but that's gonna bolster our pitching. And then if we
No
get
doubt.
Kenny Jansen, Kenny Jansen comes back with the team he was before, it's gonna help out the bullpen. He might not be the closer because we have Diaz as the closer, but Jansen could be our setup man. Or we have Evan Phillips who came back from his Tommy John. We got a lot of good pitchers that are coming back from injury. We're just getting healthy again. So we're getting healthy right at the right time, and if we can just keep the groove going, I don't like I said we talked about this last I think it was last week or that last week. I do not even see anybody beating us in the National League playoffs. I don't see Milwaukee doing it. I don't see the Phillies doing it. After what I saw from the Phillies after winning the first game of the series, and then the Dodgers just shut them down the last two. I don't see it, man. I think the Dodgers once again in the playoffs, it's done deal. We're going
And
to do it.
and Nunez, you remember what I told you on a recent show? And while it might
Mm-hmm.
be a bit of a reach, a bit of a far stretch,
Mm-hmm.
I pay a lot of attention to matchups. And I think the team that presents more problems to you in a short series, not in a 7 game series, in a shorter series, which would be the situation if you did run into them, is the other Pennsylvania team. I said it before. I think the
Oh,
Pittsburgh
the
Pirates
Pirates,
are
yeah.
one of the few
Mm-hmm.
teams that have the athleticism, the speed, and let's be real, they have the best pitcher on planet Earth right now.
Oh,
Um,
Skeens.
yeah, that could be an interesting series because I think they'll give you a little more resistance than last year when you ran into the Reds and just squashed them. Because I personally think if the New York Mets would have been able to make the playoffs last year, they would have at least given you a little bit more of a fight because of the
Mm-hmm.
familiarity. And of course, they held their own in the NLCS a couple of years back. I mean, they did beat
Right.
you twice, but I've said this to many a Met fan, whether they want to listen to me or not. Even though you guys beat us in 5 and beat them in 6, our World Series was a hell of a lot more competitive than the NLCS because
Yeah.
if you look at the total runs scored in the NLCS in 24, you guys squashed the Mets. I personally think that you guys were just kind of like going through the motions in that game 5 that the Mets won. But my boy Dorney at least got to watch them win their final game of the season because he was in the
hmm
house. But he knew what time it was. He knew.
Yeah, that was crazy looking at the Dodgers how they destroyed them. I think the Dodgers in that series, I think scored 37 runs. I think against the Mets in that series. I
Yeah, it
could
was
be wrong,
absurd.
but yeah, it was
It was
crazy.
absurd because our World Series, you guys actually only beat us by a run, even though you won 4 out of 5. It was 25
Yeah,
24. It was like really close.
hmm
And,
yeah,
I've said this to you a million times over the years. Situational stuff. When we retired Shohei Ohtani on one pitch, and then you
mhm.
want to get cute and not pitch to Mookie when former Yankee, current, he was a
Oh
Yankee.
yeah,
Bro, he never gave up a hit to Mookie Betts. You want to get cute and go lefty lefty, and then I still don't know if that ball landed from Freddie Freeman, but that basically changed the whole complexion of that series. Now, getting back to task, where we're talking about this deadline.
right.
It's no secret that my team needs some catching help. Austin Wells has been awful. Who else has been awful? Pretty much anybody that catches for the New York Yankees has been awful. Um, I know that there's a high-priced solution in Hunter Goodman in Colorado.
Hmm.
I don't think Jeffers is going to be had easily, but a little more economical in terms of farm hands if you go to Minnesota to get Jeffers. Those are the two best. Then you
Hmm.
take it down another peg. You got Shea Langoliers with the Athletics. That's the guy that I think we can pillage them for because we usually tap into them as like kind of like an extension of a minor league system for us.
Right.
And then you got the plan four, which I believe could also make sense, even though it's a crosstown rival. You can potentially get Francisco Alvarez from the New York Mets. And it's not like his numbers jump off the page, but I
Mhm.
personally believe that it would still be a legitimate upgrade over the trio of guys that have caught games for the Yankees this year. But
Right.
my gut tells me it's going to either be Ryan Jeffers or Shea Langoliers. Um, Now, I'll tell you another thing. I'd love to see the New York Yankees go out and get a little more help for this bullpen. I mean, some of it could be an in-house solution because you got to think Max Fried just came back, looked really sharp
Yeah.
yesterday against the Pirates.
Yeah.
This is two consecutive starts where Garrett Cole looked good against pretty good offenses. I mean, he didn't beat the Dodgers, but he pitched well. He didn't beat the Pirates, but he pitched well. So these
Mhm.
are the kind of signs you want to see going into the second half. We need an upgrade at third, too, my friend. The Yankees most definitely need an upgrade at third. I understand that Ryan McMahon is shorthanded with the glove, but my dad was a third baseman. And for what it's
Okay.
worth, I think my dad had a little more with the bat than Ryan McMahon does. You can't keep pushing him out there,
Yeah.
hitting that poorly. I like Ahmed Rosario in kind of like the platoon role. I like that we have Cabby. I like that we have Volpe kind of mixing and matching. But if you have an opportunity to go out and get Rafael Devers, I understand the contract's a little intimidating,
Hmm.
but guys, we got the third highest payroll in baseball. It's not like we're cheap.
Yep.
If I'm the Yankees, you got to listen to former Yankee number 13, Alex Rodriguez. You're never going to
Hmm.
get a better chance to win the pennant in the right way, in kind of like a walking through it kind of way, if you at least make two of the three moves. Now, Devers
Yes.
could be out of the price range. That is a lot of money. But I mean, my goodness, I think about him hitting in the Bronx. I think that revitalizes his career completely. Hitting in the Bronx, he's a perfect
Mhm.
left-handed stroke for our ballpark. So it could be a little bit too much of a wish, but I'm sorry. When you look at the way that the Yankees have fundamentally brought up talent outside of Ben Rice and Aaron Judge, there have been a lot of failed prospects, guys that show promise in the beginning, whether you're talking Miguel Andujar, whether you're talking, who else are we talking about here? I mean, Miguel Andujar immediately a contribution. I think he finished third in Rookie of the Year that season. Luis Heel more recently, AL Rookie of the Year. Now he's kind of lost in the sauce in a situation where there are a ton of pitchers in the Yankee system. Perhaps my want for bullpen help could be in house. Clark Schmidt's getting healthy. And I got to say this, dude, between the Dodgers and Yankees, just these two teams alone, I've
Yeah.
never seen an actual season where you have on each team up to 8 guys that have starting experience like legitimate major league starting experience, like you can really make a case that you have up to 8 dudes in the organization, whether healthy or coming back up, or like in Schmidt's case, the Dodgers, you spoke about it, how you have 2 legitimate pitchers who are injured right now. I've never
Right.
seen it so deep. You have guys that could maybe like be a tweener, like could start a game here and there, but we got like up to 7, 8 guys that could start games. And I know you guys have your share of that too. So,
Yes.
you know, it's interesting. And then I look at those fools and queens who got the second highest payroll sandwiched in between the first and the third, which are our teams. And I'm just like, damn, damn, like the acolytes used to say, damn.
Damn. And all I gotta say is just look at, and you look at ever since the Dodgers got Eric Lauer from Toronto, the Dodgers are 8-0 when he starts games. 8-0. Eric Lauer has won decisions since he came to LA, and that is just, people have to watch out for him because I was a skeptical when the Dodgers got him on a trade. I was like, well, thinking I was like, wow, why are we gonna get this dude? So, but he played yesterday against the Phillies, and he struck out five. He allowed 3 runs, struck out five. But the Dodgers are 8-0 when he comes out playing. So
Yes.
it's when you get pitchers like you mentioned, like we got Glasnow and Snell should be coming back soon. They're gonna jump right into the rotation, and then you're gonna and then Otani's trying to through a bullpen session yesterday. We don't know when Otani's gonna come back to pitching because of his knee, but you got guys that are coming out from the woodwork and just like, damn, okay, we have the number one farm system in baseball for a reason, and
Well,
a lot of these
not to
pitch.
mention nowadays you have the Japanese pipeline because I remember
Oh yes,
in the 90s, 2000s, that era, we had the hook on getting Japanese talent, but that's not the
yes,
case anymore.
no,
The Dodgers have that on lock now.
yep. I mean, you look at Yamamoto, you look at Sasaki. I mean, you remember back in the days in the '90s, you had Hideo Nomo. Um,
Yeah, Hideo Nomo
I
had
mean,
some
it was
shine there too.
yes, Nomo mania. I remember when Nomo came. I mean, you have I mean, like I said, baseball has evolved so much, and now you're looking at the Dodgers possibly on the first team since 1998, 2000 Yankees to three-peat, and the last LA team to three-peat in a championship in any sport were the Los Angeles Lakers when they did it back, I believe, in the Shaq and Kobe era. When they did a three-peat in 2000, I believe, 2002. I could be wrong, I think, but
It was
um,
2000, 2001, 2000.
2002.
Wait, yeah, because
Yes,
99 was the Spurs and 98 was the
yes.
Last Dance Bulls.
So I mean, if the Lakers go for the three. I mean, excuse me, if the Dodgers get a three-peat, are we gonna have a strike next year? That's the question. Is there gonna be
Well,
an MLB strike?
I think the work stoppage is coming no matter what. I don't think it's going to be the kind of thing where you have a real messed up situation where you're talking 80 games, but the labor strike could potentially cost some games. So my prediction will be like 130, 140 games for the
Mhm.
27 season. And I hope this is not something that reminds us of 94 because baseball has done
Mm,
such a good job between the ratings of the last 2 World Series. Last year's World Series was remarkable. I thought the Dodgers and
yes.
Yanks gave us a great show in 24. And you mentioned you take into consideration the World Baseball Classic, which has brought
Yes.
a lot of excitement. Because
Hmm.
I'm not going to front. In the beginning of the World Baseball Classic, I was like, I could kind of take it or leave it. But the way that I've seen the passion of the fans on a global scale, I think it's really good for the
Yes.
game. And when you see Venezuela beat the Americans in the finals, and you had a team like Italy who came out of nowhere, Francisco Cervelli,
Hmm.
Jorge Posada did a great job with those guys.
Yes, sir.
And you have the Dominican Republic, who arguably is the most talented group, that comes back a little disappointed because, on paper, they're supposed to beat everybody. Japan's
Yes.
always putting out a solid team. And I was proud of Puerto Rico for what they had to endure and still were able to compete. So, it's a great
Oh
tournament. It
yeah.
truly is. And it brings a lot of people together. I enjoy that tournament.
Yes, sir. I agree with you 100%. And you look at that. I mean, baseball we did a lot, and then you look at the. I'm a little bit off subject on the sport, but you look at the World Cup of soccer that we had this year.
Yes, sir.
Um, Come on, man. I mean, the United States, even though our country didn't get to the promise, it brought the soccer world saw the United States do what they had to do, and then they went to the 16 round of 16. Yeah, we got destroyed in the 16, but it brought such a commodity of people.
Yeah, no doubt.
The,
No doubt.
you
And
know,
I
and
can speak
then
on that living outside Orlando.
mhm.
It's been a craze. It was a craze.
I mean, looking at the way other countries that you did not think. Look at this country called Cape Verde. I don't know where the hell they're from, but they gave Argentina a hell of a game. They
Yeah,
literally almost pulled off the
it's
upset
always
of
cool.
upsets.
It's always cool when you see some upsets. I know Morocco put themselves on the map in the
Yep.
previous tournament. There's some people from Morocco that I know at work. They were very fired up.
Hmm.
No, it's a phenomenal tournament. It truly is. And to be honest, in terms of the unpredictable nature of it,
Right.
it
Hmm.
kind of lines up with the field of 65 when you're talking
Yep.
about the NCAA tournament.
Go Dukes. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so it's definitely a very complex tournament. And like I said, the bracket busting, especially when you're talking NCAA, is
Yes.
crazy work, bro. It really is crazy work. Um, what else is on the brain here? Any other moves, any other teams that you think need to make a potential move in MLB if they're going to strike towards the
I think.
Dodgers, or who in the AL that's kind of in the middle needs to make a move? I mean, shoot, even the Red Sox right now, dude. When I
Well, they
consider
yeah.
that they came out of
I,
nowhere and they're back, they got to
mhm.
be buyers now. The Red Sox got to be
Oh
buyers.
yeah, yeah. They have to be. I think the Red Sox. I think teams that are battling the American League for the wild card and internationally wild card. I expect the Phillies to do something. I still think Mason Miller is going to get traded to you guys. I think Mason Miller will be traded to the Yankees. That's the big thing. I think that I will
I
see
would
him
be
going to
very
your team.
pleased. I would be very
Um,
pleased with that. And even though I do like Bednar, I say you push Bednar down to the eighth. Mason Miller's been
yes,
that good. He has to have the ninth inning.
yeah. I think that will bolster up your bullpen big time if
No
Mason Miller
doubt.
came to the
No
Yankees.
doubt.
Because I mean, any news on Judge when he's coming back? Any news on Staten when they're coming back?
Stanton can take all the time in the world. I don't want to sound like an asshole, but I'm sorry, man. If the only thing you could do is be a DH and you have no other value to the team, listen, I appreciate what he's done in big moments, but I am
Right.
over that acquisition. The man's always injured. It really clogs the lineup and clogs versatility because when this dude comes back, sometimes, as Aaron Boone would say, things happen at the right time because Goldie has been cooling off considerably after a nice start.
Mhm.
But I do love Goldie with the glove. And I also like that it keeps Ben Rice fresh, that he doesn't have to play the field as frequently. So
Mhm.
maybe when Stanton does come back, it will make sense. But to answer your question, I don't think we're going to see Aaron Judge until the beginning of September. And that's all the more reason why I want to see the Yankees get busy and get another power bat. Now, if I wake up during the deadline and I see Hunter Goodman coming over to the Bronx, I would be incredibly happy because it's not just a quality catcher in terms of offensive value in baseball right now, but you're also talking another legitimate right-handed power bat because outside of Aaron Judge, the Yankees lack that. I mean, Stanton could be considered that, but he's not available half the time.
Mhm. Yes,
And of
I
course,
mean
Ben
I
Rice has been a pleasant surprise. I knew Ben Rice was a good baseball player, but I didn't have Ben Rice having 30 home runs at this juncture. If somebody would have asked me, I'd say anywhere between 18 and 20, 23 maybe, but not 30. I'm really pleased with Ben Rice.
okay. What about your rookie pitcher? I think Schiller is his name. I think.
Yeah, technically, he's not considered a rookie anymore because he made the
Oh.
threshold last season. But
Mhm.
his first complete season in MLB, I mean, what more can you say? I personally think that you can make an argument that we have the two best pitchers, possibly the three best pitchers in the American League, because when Max Fried is on, and if you track it back to 2019, even when he was an Atlanta Brave, no
Mhm.
pitcher has won more games than Max Fried.
That Max Fried.
Gar-
Right.
Garrett Cole, even though he's been victimized on a couple of solo shots, most recently against the Pirates yesterday. When you consider the man missed over 700 days, he's still a premier pitcher. And then
Mhm.
you enter the man you just mentioned, Cam Schlittler. It's a phenomenal
Right.
big three. I would be more than happy if the Yankees can find a way to move on from Carlos Rodon. I'd much rather lean towards Will Warren, and maybe we get LaGrange up from the minors. I think that's what we're looking at. Rodon's another guy that he's been injured too much, and quite frankly, I think he's an overpay. I mean, I understand the value. He's a lefty, but the Yankees do have an abundance of pitching. I think if we fix catcher,
Mhm.
if we can upgrade third, I think the Yankees, and you mentioned Mason Miller, I'd be happy if two of those three things happen, even if we got to thug it out at third.
Yes.
But if we could fix catcher and if we can get a premier closer to pair with Bednar, the eighth and ninth situation, I think the Yankees are in a great place to not just win the American League, but to be the best candidate to prevent the Dodgers from three-peating. Because I'll tell you what, bro, if we make those moves, I think we're looking at an epic World Series rematch. I really mean that. And I think we at least have the pitching to keep you guys honest because we just had a series in the Bronx. And yeah, you guys won the series, and I said you would. But I was very pleased with the pitching two of the three games.
Yeah, it was a good. I mean, it was a good series, and I'm glad that because you forgot that to mention Max Muncy hit that 2-run home run on Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole was mowing us down. I was like, damn, here we go now. I go, but wait, something about to happen. And then I said, and then he didn't want to get out of the game, Garrett Cole. I said, Max Muncy's going to chew him alive. And what did he
And
do?
I'll tell you the God's
2-run
honest
home run.
truth. And I'll tell you the God's honest truth. More times than not, when Garrett Cole makes that decision, he's proven right. But it wasn't that time.
Mhm.
I don't fault Aaron Boone for trusting his veteran. I think he's earned the right to shoo off his manager, similar to like what Mike Mussina did back in the day with Joe Torre. But
Oh yeah,
sometimes
Messina.
it's gonna go your way, and that time it didn't. But I could live with that result. I think Garrett Cole is still a premier pitcher. I think as the season continues to move along, he's going to continue. That velocity's getting better. He hasn't lost much on
Right.
that slider. He still looks good. But I love our big three right now.
Yeah.
We got to get this offense in order. And one last thing. What in the
Hmm.
name of Christ was Jazz Chisholm Jr. doing yesterday? And I'll keep it a buck. He was not out at first. You know I call it down the middle.
I didn't. Yeah. I don't. I saw some highlights, and I was just like, okay, I mean, Chisholm. I like Chisholm. I've always liked Chisholm. Even when I play MLB, I dropped him. I'm not dropped. I trade him to the Dodgers because he's pretty damn good with the Dodgers. I tell you that right
Yeah,
now.
he's a fun player. I'm not
you
gonna
know.
say that he's not very talented, but man, he is one of those guys that is like an enigma sometimes because he could make such a
Mhm.
beautiful play, make it look easy. But the most minuscule, simple plays that little leaguers do, it's
Right.
like, bro, what's going on here? Because when I saw how long he took to get that ball to Goldie, and bro, I watched that replay at least 3 times. I don't know if
Mhm.
the umpires had dinner reservations at somewhere nice in the city, but bro, you know I love my Yankees. He was not
Yeah.
out. I'll
Is
take the
it-
W, but he was not out.
There's a lot of things. Like I mean, I feel you on that because the same way that happened with yesterday's game. I think it was yesterday's game or the first game between the Dodgers and Philly. Otani hit a double, was a double. But we would have scored 2 runs, but they said that Otani was out of second. He didn't look like he was out of second, bro. But it is what it is.
Yeah,
I
it's
kind of want
crazy
to
that with all the
see.
camera angles, they could still mess that up.
It's dumb. It's like why even have it if you're not gonna call the right calls? It's like
But
the
I will say
NFL. We
this
have
though,
instant replay.
yeah. But instant
Go ahead.
replay that can
No,
still
go
be
ahead.
manipulated. It can still
Yes.
be manipulated,
It's
and you already know. You already know where I'm going with that. I did want
yeah.
to mention this to you
Yeah.
before we get out of here. What do you
Yeah.
think about the pitch clock? Not the pitch clock, excuse me. What do you think about the ability for hitters, catchers, pitchers to challenge these umpires?
The ABS.
Yes, sir. What do you
The,
think
the
about all
ABS.
that?
Oh, I love that ABS. I love it. I think it's the best thing baseball has done because you look at pitches that look like it's a damn strike and they call a ball and then they
Hmm.
just you challenge it. Come on, it's kind of like change the dynamics of the game a little bit because like you think you got to wait umpire like this. Look at it. I personally, in my opinion, I love it because it's like come on now. We have something that's
Now,
looking at the game from another eye view angle.
Now, with the labor
You
strike,
know.
this might be the only the potential labor strike coming. This might be the only season that we see it. But the one thing that I genuinely love about the ABS is that it's exposing umpires who need to either get better or
Hmm.
get fired.
I agree.
Bottom line, bottom line. And can
I
you
agree.
imagine if Angel Hernandez was still in baseball with this ABS stuff?
Oh God, I know.
You talk about getting exposed, but
That
that guy had a lot of
that's another.
loopholes in why he was
Yeah.
able to stay in Major League Baseball. He was awful.
Oh,
And
I.
it's not like a favoritism thing. He screwed everybody.
Oh, he did. And that dude, you look like I have never seen such bad games called by that umpire. I mean, I'm like, dude, you can't call a strike. You don't know what the hell a strike is. You shouldn't be an umpire. And I think he was probably betting
No,
on
no, he
games too.
it
You
wouldn't
know.
shock me, dude. It wouldn't shock me, but I'm not gonna go there with you tonight. It's a jovial situation tonight. But if
Hey,
I'm
real
the most
quick.
recognizable Major League Baseball player, I'm just Richie Hicks
Uh huh.
Jr. And if
I'm
something
just
fishy is going
Richie.
on, and if something fishy is going on with my account, they're gonna let me know. Listen, I'm just gonna say, all right, man, whatever you say, Mr. Manfred.
Yeah, let
Uh,
him do it. He's the one that has to deal with it.
but you're gonna get a rise out of this, or at least a laugh out of this, or maybe both.
What?
My buddy Richie Dorney has a signed baseball
Mhm.
from Pete Rose. You want to know what the
Oh,
baseball
what?
says? You want to
What?
know what the baseball says?
What does it say?
I didn't have an interpreter. I'm sorry.
Oh, what? He said that I don't have an interpreter.
Pete Rose wrote that on a baseball for my guy Dorney. Nah,
Ah, I
bro,
didn't
real
have an
talk.
interpreter.
That shit's funny as hell. I don't give a damn if you're a Dodger fan, who you root for. That shit's funny.
No, that is funny. I was like, at first he said I didn't have an interpreter. I kind of like take him like, you didn't have what?
Yeah. I wouldn't believe it unless he showed me the ball. I'm like, oh yeah, he really did write that. That's something that belongs in Dorney's man cave.
Hey,
Any other
that's
thoughts on the
history.
brain? No, no doubt, no doubt. I hope he gets in, and I've been very vocal about my thoughts about how Major League
Hmm.
Baseball needs to do it. But yeah, I think we're looking at
Yes.
a labor dispute that's going to cost some games. Hopefully, it'll be a better product when they do come back. But I will say
Yeah.
this: the ABS might be gone after this, so I think this was a
I
test
hope
run
not,
to.
man.
I'll tell you what I want. I want ABS to stay, but what I want them to go back
Yes.
to is real extra innings. I understand it's exciting and I understand that they're trying to speed up the game, but when you consider what prices for tickets are and you consider what
Yeah.
prices for beverages are, the one thing that
Right.
I always loved about Major League Baseball is that you can go to a ballpark and never know when you're going to leave. Now, I understand that a lot of new age fans, I understand that they might like the faster pace. I think the pitch clock helps that. But my whole thing
Hmm.
is I'm tired of these Bush League rules and extra innings. This is not a softball league,
Oh
guys.
yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Starting at second base, like I'm sorry. So you're
Yeah.
rewarding somebody. It don't make no. I'll put it to you like this: I love it when we win. I hate it when we lose.
Yes. I'm gonna be honest. I think that's for everybody. I don't like the whole second base thing myself. I will say keep the ABS, get rid of that rule. That's like you said, have old school fashion extra innings. Let the dogfight begin
I'm
and see what
okay with the
happens.
universal DH because unless if your name is Shohei Otani, nobody
Hmm.
wants to see a pitcher bat. I mean, we had some good pitchers that could hit a little. CC put a few in the seats, but
Hmm.
truthfully, unless it's Otani, for the most part, and that's what made the National and the American so diverse because
Right.
in the National League, you always knew who was going to bunt. But at the
Yeah.
same time, I personally feel like in the American League, you don't really put on your manager's hat in the old days until like the seventh inning, where in the
Yeah.
National League, it was more true to like traditional baseball. And now, the universal DH, what I do like about it is that it extends careers. Because let's be real, Giancarlo Stanton would have been out of baseball a long time ago.
Oh, definitely. I mean, not to sound mean or anything, but he trash.
And I'm not, I mean, at least Big Poppy had the dexterity that you could put him at first if you absolutely had to.
Hey, Big
So
Poppy
I'm
was Big
personally,
Poppy though, man. David Ortiz was the man though. I'm not. I wasn't a Red Sox fan, but I used to like watching him play.
Well, I'll be
You
honest
know.
with you. I didn't care for him as a player for obvious reasons because I'm a diehard Yankee fan, but I definitely enjoy him in the booth. I think he's got a great
Mhm.
personality. I think he's a great ambassador for Major League Baseball. And I also think he was on the right side of time in terms
Right.
of not being punished. But you know how I feel about that. At the end of the day,
No, I know. Yeah, yeah.
the steroid era saved
Mhm.
Major League Baseball. But
They did.
what makes me fume, and no, I'm not like some bleeding heart for Alex Rodriguez because I'll raise my hand as a Yankee fan and say that when
Right.
Alex Rodriguez was a Yankee, he was one of the biggest assholes that we ever employed. Now,
Mhm.
have I grown to like A Rod in terms of what he brings to the game as an analyst? Absolutely. And do I think A Rod,
Mhm.
if given the opportunity, would be a terrific manager? Absolutely. And do I think A Rod has
Right.
grown as a man since all his stupid shit? I hope so. I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah.
But the Peter Gammons one is the one that did me. When A Rod was lying to Peter Gammon's face, that was a bad look. That was such a bad
Yeah.
look. But any way that you want to inflame a Red Sox fan when they talk about Big Poppy, just send him a picture of his Minnesota trading card when his name was David Arias and he was a little string bean. But hey, it was part of the
Same
big.
thing with Barry Bonds. Hey,
At
same
the
thing
end of
with
the
Bonds when he
day,
was with Pirates.
yeah. But Bonds, five-tool player, bro. I personally think Barry Bonds was a better overall player when he was a skinny dude stealing bases, but he was obsessed with
Yeah.
chasing that home run record. But truth be told, dude, ah, Barry Bonds was different. And I know that with the steroids, they're going to keep him out of the hole as long as they could. But I've said it once, I've said it a million times. You don't have the sport in the place that it is now if if it didn't get ignored for the way it did, because the steroid era brought back people after the strike broke a lot of hearts. And if we're going to even take it a step further, you got to put Shoeless Joe in because your sport
Yeah.
has made money off that Field of Dreams game. There's so many
Yep.
hypocrisies. Like, how long did it take for them to recognize the Negro League players? And this wasn't a matter of who's better, who's worse, this and that. I love that Babe Ruth was all about inclusion and he played in exhibition
Mhm.
games to test his might against the Negro League players. But
Yeah.
my thing is, they were excluded and not by choice. So each and every one of the guys who were excelling deserved their place in Cooperstown. And more conversations to come in the
Oh,
future about that.
definitely.
I still don't know why Munson's not in. I still don't know why Murphy's not in. And I'm sorry, Don Mattingly, Don Mattingly deserves a place in
Oh yeah.
Cooperstown
No,
because
I
sometimes,
agree. I agree with you, man.
and
One
I
hundred
don't
percent.
even like Keith Hernandez, but he belongs in there too.
Like a lot of people, Rich.
You're not lying about that, Nunez. You're not lying about that.
um,
Any final thoughts you want to hit on before we get out of here?
Final thoughts. Jeez, man.
And I mean, it
Looking
could
at the
literally be
recent.
anything.
I mean, just looking at the things that are going on. How's him Tyson? What? But I was thinking of thought. I forgot what. I mean, looking at Cam Scooter do the flip on his knee. It looks like he's ready to go for you guys. I'm ready for football season, bro. I'm pumped.
Oh, thanks for reminding me. Thanks for reminding
But
me. You talked about scat. I'm going to talk about Stephen A. Smith for a second.
oh yeah, yeah,
In the
yeah,
words of
yeah.
in the words of Will Smith, get my team out your mouth. Stephen A., let's be real. Your expertise is basketball. LeBron was ready to slap you up in front of everybody at that Knicks Lakers game. And I am sick and tired, absolutely sick and tired of you flip flopping your allegiances. You saying that the New York Giants have been a laughing stock is common sense. But to say that John Harbaugh is not worthy of the contract he is given, bro, look in the mirror. ESPN pays you an awful lot to look like a dumbass in
Mhm.
front of Max Kellerman. So bad that they had to let Max go. Stephen A., shut your mouth.
Hey, I want to ask you real quick regarding that. That I think it was one of the guys from ESPN that let go. I forgot his name, and I think they even let go Cam Newton. Um,
Yeah,
I
they got
guess he
rid
was
of
talking
Newton.
about
They got rid of Bart Scott, but notably, who
yeah.
you're speaking on is Ryan Clark.
Yes, something about the Dallas Cowboys. About he said they're gonna win a Super Bowl or something like that. I guess ESPN fired him for that comment or something like that.
I mean,
I could be wrong.
while I could accuse him of smoking crack to think that way, um,
Ooh.
no, they didn't fire him over that. It was already a pre conceived decision that was going to go
Mhm.
down, and ESPN was worried that the information was going to leak to Clark before the Tuesday fire day where they were getting rid of a lot of
Mhm.
different people. But
Yeah.
whether you like Ryan Clark, whether you don't, not even up for debate. The unprofessional
Right.
manner in which ESPN handled this, when you consider that they're supposed to be the worldwide leader and they got the merger with Disney and all this other stuff, bro, it was so embarrassing and such a bad look on so many levels. And I said it recently on a short. It is the furthest cry from the ESPN that we loved growing up on. When you got the likes of Keith Olbermann, Dan Patrick, Stuart Scott, rest in peace, Stuart Scott, Linda Cohn,
Yes.
among others. They have
Yes.
just completely gotten away what's made them great. And I've said it before, I love talking sports, I love podcasting, you know,
Hmm.
I would do this just because I love it. And I guess that's what everybody in life needs to
Right.
do and wants to do. But the point I'm making is there is absolutely no way that if I was on that side of it, that I would want to ever work for that company because of the way they treat people.
Right.
And
Oh yeah,
that's
they
all I
treat people
got
like crap.
there. It's terrible, dude.
Yeah. Um. Just want to say one thing before we go: Dodgers and Rays World Series.
Similar to what I said about Ryan Clark, I don't know what you're smoking over there, but I know that Cali Bud is, but I know that that
Shut up.
Cali I know that Cali Bud is pretty good. I'm going to rebuttal that and say that the Los Angeles Dodgers will win the National League and they will rematch the New York Yankees. A rematch of 77, 78, 81, 24, and other seasons many, many years long ago. I think the Yankees are going to make the necessary moves, but watch out for the Red Sox. I will say that because the Red Sox could be players. But if the Red Sox don't make a necessary move or two, their fans are going to be pissed.
Yeah. And then we're gonna beat you guys in five again. You guys want to go through that turmoil again, Rich?
I ain't never scared, and I don't think it would be the same result because let's not forget who is the team that you're trying to. Who's the last team to do what you guys are trying to do?
You guys.
So wouldn't it just be poetic that we're the gatekeepers to make sure that shit don't happen?
You're not the
Or even if it,
Philadelphia Eagles, bro.
but
Calm down.
but even if it does happen, it's supposed to go that way.
See, I like the naysayer that think they want to see this. I don't think I think the Yankees have it. Like I said, if they get Mason Miller, I think that solidifies you guys to get possibly get back to the World Series. That's your missing piece in the bullpen.
I
You got
personally
your
think that if
bullpen.
we get Mason Miller and we get the appropriate catcher, even if we don't necessarily change up third, if we do those two things, I think the Yankees are winning the pennant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Dodgers Yankees World Series of 2.0, and then we'll see who's the better team there.
Yeah, it's something to look forward to. And I know Major League Baseball will be salivating because those ratings are going to be where they need to be.
Oh yeah, and then we beat you guys in five again. Yeah, that would have been better
All
than
right.
what the three people that would have cancer.
I haven't muted a guest in a long time, but that mute button is near me.
Oh,
But until
I
next
knew it was
time,
coming.
he is Nunez. I am Richie Nunez.
Yes,
You
sir.
already know this, but you of course have an invite to the NFC East preview. So make sure I'll give you the deets. We got a couple of weeks until that goes down, but I'll let you know. And also,
Okay.
you might have some company because friend of the show Johnny Nast is also a big Eagles fan, and
Ooh, nice.
yeah, it's gonna be a good one. Gonna be a good one. NFC East always something to talk on. Also, for the Facebook heads, check out NFC Beast. Unfortunately, I'm in Facebook jail, but actually, Daniel, you could share it there. Share this episode with our friends over at the Beast, as well as our AFC South preview. When you get into the catalog, please share that with our people over there.
Okay, I will definitely. Just let me know when the show for the NFC East, and then yeah, I'll definitely be ready for that show.
No doubt. But in the meantime, definitely send them the South because I know that in the Beast, they're always ready to talk about any and all football.
Yes, sir.
All right, bro. For Daniel Nunez, I am Richie. Also making a point, check out our friends, Casual Convo, every Monday, Wednesday,
Hmm.
8 to
We
10
out.
p.m. Also, check out the Basement Show with our friend Johnny Nast. Making a point to check out Big Bosco Productions, my co-host Idris Salam, bringing you back to the roots of the boom bap era of hip hop. Check out the dirtiest rap album ever made. Also, make it a point to check out Old Man Energy Volume 1, Volume 2. Volume 3 is currently in production. And I think that wraps up the shout outs. Good show, Daniel. Had a good time talking to you tonight. And I appreciate you jumping in last minute. Appreciate that, bro.
Anytime, brother.
Word up to that. All right. Have a great night, Nunez. Thank you for
You too.
joining everyone. Wish everyone a great night. We out.
We out.
Oh, last thing.
Yeah.
Knicks and 5. Knicks
Go
and 5.
Birds. Hey, go Birds.
Oh, Lord.
Big Nick energy, we ain't playing nice. Kings of New York, ain't no rolling dice. Flexing on these bitches, we the real deal. Ain't no stopping us, this is how we feel. The Bronx, Manhattan, Brooklyn, the island of Queens, we ballin' hard. Fulfilling all our dreams, thugging through the hustle. Got that grit and grind in this Big Nick energy, we forever shine. So let them know we rockin'. From the garden to the booth, Knicks in the building, bringing straight up truth. With our heads held high, watch us rise and transcend. Big Nick energy, this is just the beginning. Big Nick energy.